Saturday and Friday through the night. That's Macabe. The Duran Halloween album. Just got an anniversary reissue. And already they're ahead with this reissue than the original because they actually put it out 2 weeks before Halloween instead of the original, which came out 2 days before Halloween. Now I didn't understand that at all. Like when the album originally came out a year ago. Excuse me. Sorry, just lighting my my people keep away stick. When it came out originally last year, it came out 2 days before Halloween. And it was marketed as a Halloween album, so it'd be good for like Halloween parties. Or I think it's kind of a cool idea because there's not many, like a lot of bands, a lot of artists do Christmas albums, but not many people have done a Halloween one. Remember Dee Snider did one based on a live show he was trying to do, which was going to be like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra type show, except for Halloween. It didn't really end up coming together. I think he did a few performances, but he put an album up for that. But I can't really think of too many bands that have an explicitly official Halloween album. I mean, there's plenty of bands, you know, that do the Halloween-esque stuff. Even albums named Halloween. But yeah, this is the first one I could think of that made like specifically a Halloween album with all spooky kind of songs, lyrics that kind of pertain to it. And the idea that they put it out 2 days before seemed kind of useless because as it is a holiday album, the idea that once that holiday's over, like Christmas music, you know, once Christmas is over, the project kind of loses its legs, you know, it's not just gets filed away. Speaking of Dee Snider, Twisted Sister also did a Halloween album. No, Halloween album. Did a Christmas album. So it's funny. That's not funny, but it's a fucking coincidence. But the, yeah, so there's a very convoluted history with this Dance Macabre record. The first rumblings of it we heard as fans was after Andy Taylor was diagnosed with cancer. The band pretty soon after, and I'm not going to go over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. I did a whole video about it, how it was just a horrible thing. Like, it was no one's fault. It was just it was a bumming thing. Like, talk about putting a damper on the whole, you know, proceedings. I know comparatively, who gives a fuck about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? The man's got cancer. But he couldn't make it there, right? He didn't just want to pull a no-show. It would almost take too much energy to kind of explain why he's not there. So I guess it made sense to talk about it when they got the reward, right? Or the reward, hold on, I gotta go on. So I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Like you're gonna wait. I stopped recording, put my cigarette out, got my stuff together, and then I realized I don't need to go in here. I'm going along the store. I'm actually going to Target. But yeah, so there was no right time for that whole thing, and to announce it, you know. So they announced it as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but ultimately it made the whole thing a damp squib, which, you know, whatever, they're in there is all that really matters, you know. But it kind of put a damper on the celebratory kind of atmosphere. They had a really weird performance too. Like they were having some technical difficulties. I remember correctly. I kind of didn't even get through it. I started watching it, watched parts of it. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Not because of them, just the, you know, the setup there is trash anyway. It's usually there's always something fucked up about those Hall of Fame ceremonies, and who like fucking even cares about the Hall of Fame? We've driven by the place before. Like last time I was out there, I was with my band. We're doing a show in Cleveland, and we were not killing time really, but we weren't in a hurry. I remember like seeing it come up on the exit and going, like, anybody want to go there? I asked the band to no response. Anybody want to stop the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah, okay. Couldn't be fucking asked to go check that place out. Who cares? It's a club made up of Rolling Stone people, and Rolling Stone magazine is the worst rock magazine. Circus is better than Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is, I mean, hasn't been much about music in a long time. It's pretty much like MTV is now, or what it became. Anyway, fucking stay on target. So after the announcement that a cancer came out, they announced that they would be getting together with him to record a new album with him, as it seemed like he didn't have a whole lot of time. So they booked studio time, I guess, or whatever, however they do it, and they wanted to go in and record something with Andy, which I thought was great. It was good news, you know. I think it was April we got this news, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly. And then like there was like a lot of radio silence for a while, a couple months, where it was like, well, didn't hear anything else about it. And then somewhere along the way, I don't know how or exactly why, but some plans kind of changed. Before they even announced what was going on with the album, we found out that he is indeed going to live at least a little while longer. The guys in the band hooked him up with some doctor with an experimental treatment, and he got to use that, and the prognosis was really good. He put out a great fucking album. That Andy Taylor album, Man's a Wolf to Man, you can't wear out a stream, but if you could, that stream would have been more. It was my most played album for that year, according to Spotify. I fucking loved that thing. It was like an amalgamation of all his influences. There's a lot of Bowie in there. There's a lot of Mott the Hoople in there. There's also the most slamming like dance rock track that Duran never recorded in the past 10 years. It's like the best Duran song probably since the reunion in the early part of this century. Reaching Out for You, Reaching Out, the name of the song. It's fucking great. That album's great. But anyway, somewhere along the way, it transformed into a reunion album with Andy Taylor, and originally they said he was going to play on it, you know. I didn't know. I just assumed it would be, you know, every track, but oh no, there was an update, and the update was it was going to have, it wasn't long after, maybe a month after, it was going to have covers that they both have liked and throughout the years or whatever, mixed with new songs. So my thinking was, all right, they got Johnny jumped the gun, they got a little too excited. They said, maybe we're not going to be able to do a whole album, but we'll do a half album and new songs, and then get a group covers together. Then the next time we heard about it is when they made the announcement about the Halloween album. And somewhere, and the reason, just a quick thing, the reason it became a Halloween album, as they're saying, is because they had wanted to do a Halloween album after playing a Halloween show the previous year, and Nick got the idea to do an album. So this album kind of transformed into the Halloween album, and then we learned that Andy's playing on a couple tracks. I said, oh, all right. And then it was, and we'll also be joined by Warren Cucurullo. And then little bits and pieces of news came out. Now Rogers is on it, the girl from Main Skin. It was returned to like a friends and family celebration kind of album that's also a Halloween album. So it was like, wow, I wonder what went on. Like, maybe they found that he was going to live, and like, well, we don't have to do a whole album with him now, do we? I don't know, something like that. Something changed. You know, I think maybe they were just like excited to announce it, And, you know, once you get into the planning stages and you really hash everything out, it became the Halloween album. And we're going to get into that once I get out of Target. And the green light is, of course, on, which means someone's listening in. Whatever, I'm used to it. So, getting to the album itself, I already did a review of the actual album when it came out, talked all about it. But the newness here is that there's a new package. I like the cover a lot better. All it did was add red to it, but it's already more vibrant. Like, I understand why they went with the black and white, with that original old-timey photo there of the seance thing. But it just, I mean, it was the right thing for that, and it fit the mood, but it just is not an exciting looking cover. They never had good album covers, though. I mean, Rio, and that's it. Though, Red Carpet Massacre is their second best album cover. That album cover is great. That and Rio. Everything else is dog shit for album covers. They were just never good at that stuff. I don't know why. But, so they made the album red, which looks a lot better. You know, because these days it's like most people are going to be listening to it on a streaming service or their phone. It's just a little square. You know, you don't, you know, unless you're doing it for like the vinyl for a collector, which they did do for this. It's like a new package, and I don't collect anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. But for people that collect, it looks like a cool package. So anyway, there's 3 new tracks here. One of them is an instrumental that starts the album off. It's a Mask of Pink Death, or something about the pink and the death and the mask in some order. And it's a very it's the Nick Rhodes piece that I've heard in a while. Very cool, very atmospheric. It sets the whole mood for the whole thing. It's has a bit of an 80s sound to it. The sort of that Casio kind of drum that they used back in the day. It's kind of that sound. Kind of sounds like that a little bit. It's cool. You know, there's not much to it. It's just more like it's a little mood piece, but it's a good way to open the album. And it goes right into Night Boat, which was originally the album opener. I think with Future Past, they had this instrumental piece too. It was a Velvet Newton that came out on the extended edition, which would have made a perfect opener for that album, because it's just, as an album, it fits really well. But I think, you know, they want to start off with a bang. And I understand that. But anyway, this one, so that's one of the 3 new tracks. And then you got a cover and a redo. They redo New Moon on Monday, which was the first single from this whole thing. And it's cool. It's a great song anyway, a song that gets overlooked a lot. Like the first couple greatest hits albums, like Decade and Greatest. I don't think it was on either one of those. I know it wasn't on Decade. But it wasn't, I don't think it was on Greatest. I don't know. And it wasn't really a song that they pulled out in the set list too often either. It was kind of like an overlooked track. Now, I don't know if this is a Mandela effect, or if this is a UK, USA situation. But in my memory, New Moon on Monday was the first single from 7 of the Ragged Tiger. And then Everywhere I Look says it was Union of the Snake. Maybe it was, like I said, a UK, US thing, because sometimes they do different singles for different territories. And maybe it was Snake in Europe and the UK. But I could have swore in America, I mean, I would bet almost anything, was New Moon on Monday. In fact, I didn't know there was any kind of argument about that until like fairly recently, maybe like the last 10 years, when I saw, well, it was in John's book. he mentioned that it was the first single. Like, his brain's fried, you know. Johnny tells you he's not a reliable narrator, which is, you know, kind of a thing if you make an autobiography. But they, yeah, in my memory, it was New Moon on Monday. And the video, the original video, was like one of those where they had like, they try to make a mini movie out of it. In the beginning is this big long piece of him going into a city, looks like a village in Europe, and meets some girls. The whole storyline to it. It was cool. I liked it, but you know, building up to the finale, you think they're doing something like top secret, crazy espionage thing. No, they're just flying a kite. That's it. They're flying a kite and they're dancing. In Andy's book, he said he was wasted when he was dancing around like that. Like I said, I've been waiting all day to shoot this thing. The video shoot seemed like a drag. But anyway, it's a great track. I always like that one. And the new version is good. It's just, you know, it's like it's not all that different than the original. His vocal performance, he's a little more exacting with his vowels. He kind of sings it a little differently, where he pronounces all his vowels really straight, really sharp, you know. And yeah, it's cool. It's not, you know, nothing that's gonna set the world on fire, but I like it. The other song is actually a cover of ELO, Evil Woman, which fits, you know, fits the theme. So does New Moon on Monday, you know. And I think that sounds great. That's the current single, the second single from this album. And it sounds so good. I think he did a great job with that. It fits them perfectly too. Like, it really takes out the sort of dance kind of elements that were always there in the song, but they weren't really emphasized by the ELO, this Duran. It almost sounds like a song they would have written maybe in the Notorious era, you know, Nile Rodgers era. And Nile Rodgers also appears on this album. Andy, I know he plays on one of the, hey man, what's up? I know he plays on New Moon on Monday, on the new Moon on Monday. Is it called that? New Moon on Monday? Seems rather obvious that you should. But I don't know about Evil Woman. I know Warren plays on one of the new songs. Maybe he plays on Evil One. I haven't looked at the credits yet. But I mean, I've listened through it. And I think with these extra songs, it makes it a more substantial listen. But for me, there's a couple tracks on the album originally that I could have did without the hi, how you doing? The Billie Eilish song. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I didn't really know it. I had no point of reference for that track, so I mean, I don't know how faithful it is to the original, but it's cool. Nothing earth-shattering. And the only other track I didn't enjoy was Love Voodoo, a song of the original that I don't enjoy. It was probably my least favorite song on the Wedding album. It's just kind of there. It has a nice sound, and it reminds me, it sounds like they might have wrote it in the same session as Come Undone. It shares a lot of the same melodic kind of signposts as that melodic signpost. Fucking scratching for some words. I gotta go into the store now. I'm just fucking store crazy. I'll be right back. So I was in the position to destroy everything in my surrounding area that restricts me from being the master. I would take off the Eilish tune and Love Voodoo, and then it would be perfect. It's good as it is. I think these extra tracks give it more of a total package kind of listening experience. It still drags a bit in some places, but I can't point to any certain track where it does it. Just overall, it's kind of a lot. I mean, with the 3 new songs, it's 16 tracks. I think it was 13 originally, but yeah, it's good. Fucking home run. But you know, hopefully a new album will come soon enough. It was a nice kind of stopgap thing. And like I said, this time they actually gave it more time to be released before Halloween. before it becomes kind of irrelevant. That's the only thing about making an album so tied into a holiday. Once that holiday's over, people in their minds, and maybe subconsciously, don't reach for it. That happened to me, you know. It certainly didn't stick with me like Future Past. Well, Future Past was fucking great. Knock the spin around. Boomer tier production. But yeah, it's good. I mean, if you didn't have it, most Duran Duran fans already have it. But also most Duran Duran fans will get this one too. If you're a collector, it's probably cool. The package is nice. So is the original package. I don't know how different this one is, but the original had like a tarot card thing in it. It was really cool looking. They could do so much more with that catalog. You know, it seems like, I don't know what the deal with their management is, but they are not taking advantage, you know, of their catalog like a band like that could. They're so visually interesting as a band, and different eras have different looks. They can really do something with that. It just seems like they're never dead. You know, it lends itself to doing something like that. And I don't know. I feel like they're not taking advantage of that whole thing, but whatever. I don't manage them. If I did, I'd tell them I'm going to the studio, making a new album. So it stands for Macabe. I like it. If I had to do a 5-star situation, I'd give it 3.5. 3.5 stars. It's like a B. Not a B plus, but like a B. If we're doing a 1 to 10 rating, it's a solid 7, I guess. So I think that just about covers all the different possible ways you could fucking, you know, decide the value of something, to quantify the goodness of it. I'm just finishing my people ward. I'm gonna head for the night. Till next time, thanks for stopping in. It's always good to have people check on me to make sure the ice cream van hasn't come by yet to give me frosty treats. But until then, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.